Okay, guys. Take two. Hotkeys, RSBA1 software. Minimize this. Hotkeys, RSBA1. Show you, I had a question about this. I'll show you really quick. Hotkeys. Go up here to options, shortcut. Here are all your hotkeys. Program a hotkey. Here is your category right here and your action. For transmit button, I use the right arrow at the bottom right hand corner of the keyboard on the laptop. So if you want that, or you want your transmit hotkey, click on this, go to button, and scroll down to transmit. And you can, in the key right here, you can highlight this, leave it highlighted, and then hit the key you want. Hit set, bada boom, bada bing, and add. You can add it, set it, do all kinds of stuff. That's how you set your hotkeys. Let me go through a few hotkeys for you. If you go back up here and go to tuning, you'll notice I have frequency up and down. I have page up and page down that I set. So if I were to hit the page up and page down buttons, you'll notice the VFO scrolls. And the easiest way to deal with this is, when you click on a signal, let's say you click over here and you see a signal on spectrum and you want to zero beat it. So let's bring this up. Of course, there's nobody talking. Wow. Dan just puked. This band was on fire a second ago. Okay, here we go.
Have a great weekend, sir. 7-3.
So that's how you do it. You can click on the spectrum and then use the up-down arrow keys to zero beat. Okay, that is done. A few things I wanted to show you is regarding the control surface on the RSBA1. All of the buttons here, if you left click them, it will change the parameters of it. But a lot of these buttons have a submenu. So let's say you wanted to go to filter right here, and you'll see right here above the 1 on the VFO, it says filter 2. If you needed to change the filter, you can left click it and go to filter 3, filter 1, filter 2. And you'll see the bandwidth is set to 3 kilohertz. Well, how do you change the bandwidth if you want to do that? All you have to do is right click on the keyboard, and you can take this bandwidth control now and change the bandwidth. So here's a catch. All of the knobs, if you have it set up on the knobs or the sliders, depending on how you set it up, you can, to decrease, so in other words, you reach over and you grab that knob and you turn it counterclockwise. To do that, you use the left mouse key or the left key on the touchpad. So you can touch the left key and it goes counterclockwise, it goes down. And to go clockwise, you just use the right key. So that's how you set things. And that works, let me X out of here, and that works on any knob, including the VFO. So if you put your mouse on the VFO and you left click, it'll spin it counterclockwise. Right click, it'll spin it clockwise. All of these knobs work exactly the same way. However, I've got a hotkey for the hotkeys page up and page down for the tuning. Because what I like about that is all you need is any of this software, the spectrum or the control surface in focus. In other words, you left click on it. If you're working in here anywhere, you can just use those hotkeys to manipulate the VSC. So I can click on here in the spectrum and then just use the hotkey. And there you go. Now, the AF right here, the volume, I think by default it's set to the up and down arrows. I never changed that. So if you go to the up arrow, it'll bring the volume up. If you go to the down arrow, it'll reduce the volume. And the reason why I like those is because they're all grouped together. So you have the page up, page down, controls the VFO. They're right next to the up and down. It's a group of 6 keys right there. And then you have the up, down arrow, adjust the volume. And then you have your left and right key, adjust the, scratch that. And the right key Remember, the right arrow key is my transmit key. So if I hit that key, watch the TX button, top left-hand corner of the VFO, A1GMM. There you go. Okay, that's done. That covers the hotkeys. Yippee. So I'm going to shut this down. And the next thing I'm going to do is I had a question regarding getting the audio routed to the software. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the server. Disconnect from the server. And I'm assuming you got the radio up and running. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole nother thing. So let's say you got the radio up and running and you got your radio list. In the radio list, you'll see speaker and mic and virtual audio. So you can emulate what I have here except for the speaker and mic. So I'm going to do it straightforward in layman's terms for now. So what you want to do is you want to make sure this is highlighted. Click on it. Make sure it's not connected. You won't be able to do this if it's actually the server's connected. So disconnect this. Hit settings. When the settings window pops open, I'm assuming you have it running, which means you have the correct COM port in there. Now on the speaker and the mic, let's say you're running a headset. Most people do if they're running remote. So I'm on a Logitech USB 2.0 headset. So if you wanted to keep it extremely simple, you set the speaker to what you're listening through, which would be Logitech USB headset for me. And for the mic, you want the Logitech USB headset for the mic, because that's where the mic is. And what that will do is it will take all the audio that you're talking into the mic, and it will send it to the radio. Okay, once that's done, I'm not going to do that because it's not the way I do it. But that's the easiest way to do it. And you're off and running. That works like a dream. And then what happens is, let me just hit, oh shoot, I'll reconnect it. It'll ask you to verify the port number. Start the radio. Okay, and where you go in to set, you have your mic set here, and you have set in the bottom left-hand corner of the control window of the remote control. So if you left-click on mic set, there's your USB mod level. And that's going to adjust the drive on your ALC right there. So if it's too hot, you just left-click in there, open this window up, and bring this down. Of course, you have a drop-down, so you have the option of mic, accessory, USB. Now, I have my audio set in the ICOM transceiver. If you go into menu, and I think it's maybe in the CIV area, I can't remember. You'll see the US mod level, and you'll also see a place to set what the USB cable uses, right? How the USB cable is used. Now, I use the USB cable to send my audio into the radio with. I don't use an external microphone or anything with the ICOM ever. That's how I do it. It's all done through the USB. And that relates to this USB mod level. So you have to make sure that however the audio is getting into the radio, you're going to want that to come in virtually into the USB cable. So you can go in there and make that change. So it'll grab the audio. All the audio in and out of the radio will always be passed through the USB codec. All right, the USB codec. That's what it's using. Okay. Then you have your mic set. So if you were just using the headset, no processing or nothing, then you can go in and set your bass and treble in here. Okay? And that's done. Now remember, a lot of these functions, bring this down. A lot of these functions, you have the ability to right click. So let's say you want compression. Right? So I run very mild compression. Very, very mild. To turn it on and off, you left click. So that's off, that's on. To adjust the compression level, you right click. And there's the compression level. Same with the NR. Turn it on, off with left click. right click, set your level that way. Okay. Now, before I go into the other stuff, which is more complicated, I'm going to show you how to run this with the RxDap. Trust me, don't do it any other way, and I'm referring to the ICOM. The RxDap, you want to run both preamps on, preamp 2 on all the time on the ICOM. And you may think that sounds crazy, but it's not. You want preamp 2 on always, and the entire system is driven with the RF gain and the AF control. What this allows you to do is it pumps up the audio so much that you can bring the RF gain down, like crush it. And then what you do is you use the AF, which sends the audio to the software, the RxDap, and that's how it's processed. So you're stripping out a lot of noise. The noise reduction, I always run the noise reduction on. Sometimes I'll reduce the level here, right click on it and reduce it, but it's pretty much always running. On a really noisy band, you can bump this up a little bit and help get things under control, and it'll go dead silent, man. It'll go dead silent on an S0 signal. It's crazy, but it is noise floor dependent. That's all I'll say about that. Let's get over to, okay, you're going to need Banana. I've done videos on Banana, and this is basically works exactly the same way as any TXDAW. I'm using VST host. There is a download fully set up, ready to go. You just have to go in and set your audio up with the VST plugins. Watch the Master Blaster class series. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'll show you how to make it work on the ICOM. All right. So the usual thing, I got my USB headset, hardware 1. I want to select that. Usually I select WDM, Logitech headset. And the minute that you do that, you should see this light up with the meters. Talk into it. Make sure B2 is on, set that to mono. Come over here and make sure B1 is on under voice meter aux. And you're to run this system, you're gonna need at least one virtual audio cable. So if you're gonna run the TXDAW, you will need a virtual audio cable. I believe there may be another way to do this, but I'm not sure. So you'd have to play with the different inputs in this, right? So you'll notice in here, I've got the speaker set to line 1 virtual audio cable. Mic, I have set to line 2 virtual audio cable. Oops. So if you come over here, remember from the Master Blaster class series, the voice meter aux communicates with your DAW. This is your DAW right here. This is the VST host application. And once you have Banana configured properly, and that's the way it should look, okay? Come over here, launch VST host, go to devices, wave, make sure it's set to ASIO voice meter aux virtual ASIO in the drop down. You'll see the input gray out, and this will put it into ASIO mode, and I run it at 1056 samples fixed. Click OK. Okay. And you should be good to go. And if you look at, you're talking to the microphone, you should see something over here moving if it's not configured. And if you come over here, you'll see the meter moving on the voice meter aux. That means it's communicating with your DAW. Okay. Come up here to A1, A2, and A3. A1, you're going to set to your whatever you're listening through. So your speakers could be either, I wouldn't recommend computer speakers for obvious reasons. If you try to check your audio, it's going to feedback. I set it to my Logitech headset. That's A1. To hear your audio, you click on A1 and it might loop. So get ready. Testing. 1, 2. There you go. So that's working. Now you have to pipe that audio to the ICOM. So go up here to A2. Assuming you have a virtual audio cable installed, I have multiples here, so I set virtual audio cable 2 to A2, and I turn this on. And if you come over here, here you go. See the mic? See the modulation meter? It's moving. The mic is set to line 2 virtual audio cable. So the audio is being processed, comes out of Banana virtual through the virtual audio cable 2. Hence A2 is turned on. If A2 is off, you're not going to send anything to the ICOM. So you got to activate this. Remember, set this to A2. Set this to virtual audio cable. Whatever virtual audio cable you selected in your ICOM utility, this has to be the same. So this comes out of Banana into virtual audio cable 2 via the A2. Make sure A2 is turned on. Boom, you got audio coming in. Now we're going to move over to the receive side. So I'm running, this is the RxDap system. So I set, here's where the other virtual audio cable comes into play. So, oh, wrong one. So on the playback side, on the speaker side, I have that going out line 1 of the virtual audio cable. Hence, you'll need 2 virtual audio cables. You only need 1 if you're going to use just one of these systems. That's all you need. Okay. You may be able to do it with just 1 cable with both systems, but you got to get the audio into the mic side for the TXDAW. So I'm not sure if I think I did play with that. There's a place, there's an item in the drop down under the mic, under the utility, where I was able to select like voice meter, I don't know. You may be able to select voice meter VIO in the drop down, and you won't need a virtual audio cable. I'll just put that out there. You can try it. Okay, so anyways, moving back to the RxDap. So you see the speaker, the playback is set to line 1 virtual audio cable. Come over here to your RxDap, hit devices, click wave. There you go, input port, line 1 virtual audio cable. Output, because I want to be able to hear it, is set to speakers, Logitech headset. So it's processed through the DAP and it's spit out to the speakers in the headset. Make sure your sample rates all match, 48 kilohertz. Always make sure your sample rates are matched. Always. 500 samples, I have that set to. Click OK. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned it before, VST host over a period of time, the buffers may fill and you'll see the latency increasing. If that happens, usually if I have it running for an hour, I'll just come up here to engine and I'll click restart engine and it will restart. Sometimes you can go into devices, click wave and just click OK. And it will it basically cleans out, empties the buffers, and you start fresh. Okay, so that is basically it, you guys. I think I covered everything. We will catch you all later. And have a I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that answers some questions that I got. Sorry, I'm going fast because there's a lot to cover and I don't have much time. 7-3 all. We'll catch you soon. God bless.